Ladies and gentlemen, Hex community of all ages, hey, Jake Freedom here, coming to you live from YouTube for this week's Hex Update Saturday for November 14th, 2015. And we had a few things happen this week here. We had a small patch come out, kind of more along the lines of a quality of life patch. We had an announcement by Hex and Gameforge. They get the profile for the third IQ winter, and we had a new, I don't know if you want to call it a feature released into the game. So let's just go ahead and start. We'll backtrack here a little bit. Well, I guess one of the first articles they released this week was, they call it Late Development Spiraling Eggs. And basically this is an article that just talks about mechanics and the different iterations they go through from conception to the actual release into the real world. I read a little bit of it. I didn't read it all here. I'm not going to go over this, on the show here. It is quite long. I'll go ahead and link this in the description so you guys can check it out at your own leisure time whenever you want to do that. The next thing we have here is Gameforge, now publisher for Hex in North America. This is supposed to be a good thing. I think it is. And you know, they go on to say here, so what does this mean for the community? And they say not much is actually going to change. Hex Entertainment will be able to spend more time and the resources in their development efforts, while Gameforge will basically take over the administration part of like our accounts and things like that. So nothing really will change. There's a new terms of service that we had to agree to, and there was a post on the forum saying, oh, this terms of service here is you can't do this, this, and this. Well, it's basically the same as it was before. Not much has really changed, and they're not going to fault any of the backers for having multiple accounts, you know, anything like that. The biggest thing with multiple accounts is that's frowned upon is playing in the exact same tournament. So if you're dual, you know, have two screens or, you know, whatever you got going on, if you have the game up and you're logged into two separate accounts and you're playing in the same tournament, that is frowned upon. Having multiple accounts is not necessarily frowned upon if you have a reason for it. Now, if you're just getting multiple accounts like before, when you could trade out the starter deck stuff, you'll have multiple accounts then just for that, for gain, that's frowned upon as well. But so the terms of service really hasn't changed at all. So they go on to say, what will change in general? The team at Gameforge will be the ones providing and administrating your Hex accounts in the future. Otherwise, there won't be much of a change for you, since we've already been working closely with Hex as a co-publisher. Most things will remain as they were. So nothing you really need to worry about there. You know, what that means when a game gets a publisher, you know, I'm not in the development industry, so I don't know exactly, but I can only assume it's good, right? It's got to be, you know, a step in the right direction. So then there was a patch here on the 10th. They didn't really list the patch notes there, but we'll get into those patch notes right here. So like I said, it's basically just a quality of life patch here. New features, the constructed gauntlet tournaments are now best of 3 with reserves. So being that they're best of 3, did the timer increase? I'd never actually been in the gauntlet before. So now since they're best of 3, the timer should have went up, because I saw somebody post in the forums about the timer still being 30 minutes. So I'm not sure if they've changed that yet. I doubt it, since, you know, we haven't had a patch since then. But cards that are new to your inventory will have a new icon until you mouse over them. That's kind of nice there. I really am going to enjoy that, because you just never know what you got, you know, so that's cool. Card portraits have been added to the game. You can find them in the chat interface. Commas have been added to bid and buyout prices in the auction house. Okay. The ability to delete multiple decks has been added to the loaded deck interface, and show extended art only is now available in the filter. Is available as a filter in the card manager. Also, what else is noteworthy here? If you have decks that have forward slashes in them, you know, those will display properly. Clicking on the globe no longer launches the campaign screen. They're now able to utilize DirectX 11 and render in non-exclusive mode. Let's see here, what else? Chat is now present in Frost Ring Arena Lobby. I guess I didn't really notice chat wasn't present there. A couple things in tournaments. Set 1 and Set 2 champions can no longer randomly be selected when a limited player does not save their deck. You can view your deck. You can view your deck's hash under Deck Validation Summary. Okay, so what this is here is a deck. There's been a deck hash system that has been added to help increase tournament integrity of events that are run by third parties on the outside. This system will help make sure players are playing with the same deck during the entire event. So basically, I haven't looked at it yet, so I'm guessing there's just some type of hash code that's going to be displayed. It's, you know, that the makeup of the deck is going to produce some type of sequence of numbers or letters, and that's going to have to match if if you're playing with the deck throughout an actual tournament. If you change one card, obviously that sequence is going to change because something has changed in the deck. So it's a pretty cool feature. I like that one a lot. Let's see here. What else do we got? Messaging has been updated for when a player attempts to enter a tournament with a banned card. Limited deck building now includes 40 of each standard resource. Why would you want that? I mean, is there times? Well, I guess there would be. Would there be times you'd want to run? Well, I suppose if you're doing, maybe if you're doing like a jank bot deck. I suppose. I don't know. I guess I've ran into that situation before. The displayed number of rounds now updates correctly as new players join. Okay, so they're talking about there the number of rounds displayed, where a couple people, or at least one person that I can remember reading about, was kind of, I wouldn't want to say screwed out of winning a tournament, but he left prematurely because it said, you know, there was only 8 rounds and actually there were 9, because he was going off the interface and not what was actually being displayed. I'm not exactly sure how it worked, but he wasn't too happy about it. And there's just a bunch of gameplay changes here too. We're not going to go over those at all there. Again, you know, we haven't gone over patch notes in a long time, it seems like. You know, this used to be the thing we would do basically every week. There would be a patch of some sort, which was kind of exciting. This is where the show came from. But so it's kind of cool going over some patch notes again. Yeah. And one major thing that I caught out of this here is the shift text now displays properly when you shift a troop's ability to a troop that has a shift ability. So that was always annoying. Like, okay, what did I do here? You know, so anyway, yeah, we'll link that in the description so you guys can check that out. Now, something that's noteworthy is I saw this, was it on Twitter? If you guys, who was it? The Hex Meta beta site, wherever you know. And last week when I was going through the decks here, I was looking through them, and I was like, you know, something's going on here. Something's shifting. And Hex Meta, they keep track of all the tournament decks there, and they said that the meta is definitely shifting away. And I think anyone will probably agree, because you're seeing a lot less of Cressida decks, and you're seeing more of just other stuff. I don't know what to call it, but like this one here, I mean, this is using the troop. Well, that's not that one. Which one was it? This one? This is just the... Which one did I... Maybe it wasn't this set. This is the top 8 qualifier decks from last week, so... but again, you know, it's great to see this stuff shifting around. Obviously, everybody has access to this. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't want to go look at it. I'll, again, link that stuff. So this is our... wait, no. Oh, we almost missed one. Okay. This is something I wanted to talk about, too. It's kind of interesting that Hex actually did something about it. They did something about it in a fairly quick manner, too. There was a post talking about drafts not firing properly. Not firing in a timely fashion. And people are going back and forth saying that, you know, well, drafting is kind of blah for this set here, and this is why that doesn't work, you know, and nobody wants to draft set 3 because the value's not there. And there was probably 3-4 pages worth it, maybe more than that, I'm not sure. And going through it all, it basically turned into a value thing, where nobody wanted to draft set 3-1 because they think it's boring. And, you know, I'm not going to say that it's exciting to draft, but, you know, if you get the right card pool and, you know, the cards, the packs open well on you and you're in the right seat, you know, things can go pretty well. But everybody else is probably going to have a terrible time. So, I mean, it's not the most exciting set to draft, I will agree. Hopefully when set 4 comes out, I don't know if it'll be a 3-3-4 or 3-4-4. I don't know what they'll do. Hopefully that'll bring some excitement back, and maybe bring some value back in a set 3, because set 3 is by far the least valued set and by far the least fun set to draft with. But so anyway, the whole thread turned into being about value. That's why people don't draft. And I read every thread, and I didn't see anywhere mentioned that why drafts could not be found was basically because, or possibly because of the daily scheduled tournaments. So I made a post in there and said, hey, let's not forget, you know, people chasing the IQ tickets. They're doing the scheduled tournaments every day. You know, maybe that's the only time they have, and they're going to use it for that. You know, whether it be the constructed tournament, you know, or the sealed tournament. I mean, the sealed tournament fires what, every 4 hours? You know, so I think I usually play in the one that's 8 o'clock Central Time. So I mean, there's plenty of other tournaments that are going on at the same time. You know, so I contribute part of the reason to that, and maybe some of the reason is to, you know, value itself. And so people were going on saying about, oh, you know, it'd be awesome if we brought, you know, 1-1-1 draft back, or, you know, 1-2-2, or some people said 1-2-3, and that just wouldn't work because 1-2-3 aren't blocks, 1 and 2 are blocks, 3 and 4 will be blocks. So drafting 1, 2, and 3 would just be weird, I think. So I could almost, when I first saw the article, I could almost guarantee what this was going to be, and I was exactly right. What's going to happen here is for the Shards of Fate-giving, Hex is going to bring back Draft 1-1-1. That's going to start taking place on November 20th. And it's also going to be, you know, 6 packs of set 1 in sealed gauntlet as well. So it's kind of cool. So if you weren't able to draft or play with set 1, here's your chance. It'll go on for 10 days, and you do get IQ tickets as well for this. So it's kind of cool that they did this. You know, I'll probably go back and draft set 1 just because it was a whole lot of fun, man, to see who can race to get the Volcanon and the Soul Marble. Kind of what it boiled down to. It'll be interesting though, just drafting set 1, because set 1 is just full of removal, and I think when we drafted set 1, it was before they changed murder, where murder can no longer now attack or target artifacts. So it might be a little interesting. Outside of what else is there? I'm trying to think of what other removal there is in set 1 that takes care of artifacts other than sweepers like Extinction. Well, Repel would, if you have that. I think that's in set 1. Yeah, it's in set 1. I don't know. It's littered with removal, but that was before. You know, I think it was before. I think we stopped doing draft with set 1 before they changed murder. I could be wrong on that one though. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But before you could murder an artifact, now you can't. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. I know I'll be doing this. I only have a few. I think I have 4 packs of set 1, which I'll go and buy more. I don't care. See what happens. Maybe get some primals out of set 1. Who knows? So then we have the IQ winner that we found out last week. It was just on the forums I found out, and this is his profile. He says he spends a lot of time in the game. He's a big believer in preparing for every tournament, and he basically says that you can never bring anything to Entrath that will take him by surprise. So he is from Germany. This is the 3rd country. I believe that I think we've been 3 different countries now for 3 different winners. So that is his profile. Again, if you want to read that, I'll link that too. Now this feature here, I'm not too terribly sure about. I think this is just, it's kind of cool. I think it's like somebody had some extra time or something. I don't know. I mean, we bring in moods here. And if I was noticed down in the bottom of the chat box, I'm like, okay, what are these things here? And I never really did anything with them because I didn't really care. I guess you could call them emoticons if you wanted to. Not emojis, but emoticons, because, you know, they're just, I don't know. I guess it's funny. You know, people probably use it. It's just a different way to express yourself in Hex, they say. But you have, you know, what are there? 8 different ones? 9 different ones? 8. So you like, they give an example here. Never be in this little emoticon again with moods, and that was confused. So you got normal, anger, confused, flirty, happy, laughing, sad, and surprised. I don't think that is surprised. I think that's more terrified, to be honest with you. That's just me. This looks terrifying, not surprised. So yeah, those are the moods. Hopefully it was an easy implementation. Hopefully they didn't spend a whole lot of time on that. And we got a new PVE card released this week here. This is called Experienced Masons. It's a 3/4 for 4 single diamond threshold. It seems pretty powerful, I think. Again, I'm not a horrible, or not, I am horrible at judging PVE cards. What I'm trying to say is I'm not the best at judging PVE cards. But for 5, you can exhaust them. You can choose one at random. The whole random thing, I don't like. Well, I guess that's what PvP is basically about, is a lot of random stuff. But choose one at random, create a castle wall, and put it into play, or create a sniper tower and put it into play. And the Mason here is really pissed. He looks like he's like really I don't know, they say intense. You must have wanted walls instead of a sniper tower. But two pieces of equipment that can go on him, some gloves, and it says your experienced masons have when this enters play. If you control a human, king, queen, prince, or princess, create a citadel of adamant, which is pretty good, and put it in your hand. Its weapon is a clay claw hammer, and says your experienced masons have, you can exhaust them, target citadel of adamant in your hand. It gets cost 0 this turn, so that's pretty cool. I think overall that's a pretty decent card, I think. I mean, a lot of these PVE cards, they seem decent just because, you know, what we're used to, but we'll put them into the PVE environment once that comes out, and we'll see how good they actually are. I don't consider Frostring Arena the PVE environment yet. So that is the news for this week here. A lot of stuff happened, actually. I mean, it was kind of exciting, you know, to see all this stuff going on. They did not list any decks this week or anything like that since last we did this on the 7th last week. No, we did it on the 8th because I waited till Sunday last week. No decks this week other than the top 8 invitational qualifier. Oh well, not a big deal. Not going to cry about that one. So let's go ahead and get rid of that screen there and minimize this one here so I can get into the game. Where did the game go? Here it is. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring up some winners. Alright, so for the top 5 picks, the winner, I'm on the right tab, yes I am. The top 5 are Sismic is number 1, Death Realm number 2, Cats Eat Fish number 3, T-Bor number 4, and Old World is number 5. Congratulations, you guys. I'll get those cards mailed out ASAP. And the winner of the weekly pack is T-Bor. So congratulations to all of you there. Now let's go ahead and get to this week's pack. Yes, I know it's just a normal pack. I do have some, right? Yes, here we go. And open. Oh, I do have a display bug to show. Maybe some of you guys have seen this one too, so we'll get to that one here. Just a standard rare. And we start with our commons. We have Thunderfield Enchanter, Return to the Soil, Sudden Awakening, Vampegasus, Resource Optimizing Infusion Device, Swordplay, Creepy Conspirators, Ashwood Soloist, Tireless Researcher, Invigorating Breeze, and Arcane Focus, rounding out the commons. For our uncommons, we have Harvest of Sorrow, Bombwright, and Twisted Taunter. And for our rare, we have Exarch of the Egg, 2 casting cost, single blood, 1/3 troop with lethal. When this or another Ventum enters play under your control, create 2 eggs for each opposing champion and put them into their decks. Hey, at least we get it. Was that a rare? No, not a rare. Uncommon chest. So let's stash that away. Alright, so what I wanted to show you real quick was, I think it's a display bug that came after they did some updates to that patch. Okay, so here it looks like, hopefully you guys can see this. Just make sure, yeah. So here it looks like that I have 7 primal chests, but I don't. These are not supposed to be chests. These are 2 Convocation 2015 packs and 4 Convocation 2013-2014 packs. I even looked into the auction house to see if they show up the same way, and they do. So hopefully they're not going to keep them as chests. Maybe they'll keep them as packs. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe that was their whole intention all along, was to make them chests like that. I don't know. So you guys let me know if that's right or wrong, because before they were the packs, they had the different, you know, pack art as well, and I saw that and I'm like, wait a second. So other than that, let me know what your top 5 picks are in the comments down below. If you want to let me know something else other than that, you got to be sure to do that as well. If you like the show, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of these, be sure to click subscribe down below, whichever corner it would be in, that one maybe, or that one, I'm not sure. I always get confused in my directions when facing the camera. Anyway, other than that, we'll have another video for you soon.